You should go ahead and have a seat. So if we haven't met before, my name is Jeff, and I serve as the Director of Missions for Ada Bible Church. And in that role, I get to lead the charge in reaching out into our city and serving churches and nonprofit. Many of you in the room I've met, and I just love that. And most days, I firmly believe I have the best role at our church. And one of my ongoing prayers is that this conference, this movement of encouragement, would not just be an encouragement that comes from the platform, but it's an encouragement that would come from each one of you and to one another. Imagine the power of all of our voices, cheering each other on, lifting each other up, and walking arm in arm toward God and toward His people. So I want to ask you to do something in that spirit. In a bold voice, I want you to turn to someone next to you and say, the work you are doing is making a difference. Go ahead. Yeah. All right, one more. All right. So I want you to turn to someone else this time, and I want you to say, well done, good and faithful servant. Man, I love this. Encouragement is such a powerful way that we can show the tangible love of Christ. We also believe that telling the stories of kingdom impact in our community is just a powerful way to engage ourselves. And so I want to say hi to all my friends at Hand to Hand. Where are you? Woo! All right, so there's about 20 of them here. And if you don't know Hand to Hand, one of their missions is just to make sure that no child in our community goes hungry over the weekends, when food resources at home may be vulnerable. And so I want you to get this. Each weekend, Hand to Hand, in partnership with churches across our city, are providing over 12,000 weekend meals to students in West Michigan. And I'm just curious, how many of you have served with Hand to Hand in the room? Yeah, quite a few of you. And it's amazing just to see how our stories are intertwined. I asked the leaders, what most excites you in this season? And I thought it would be the big numbers. They've added 2,000 students this year. But their answer really blew me away. And it was that we love having a front row seat and seeing how God provides. So thank you, Hand to Hand, for all the amazing work that you do in our community. This past year, I had the pleasure of getting to know our friends at Mel Trotter. I was invited to sit at their System of Care meetings, and I saw how their leadership, led their teams with care and love and compassion, which ultimately translates into how they care for their guests. So I just want to share just some of the amazing things that's happened at Mel Trotter this past year. Do you know each weekend they serve over 500 of our homeless friends? That's amazing. Despite the housing shortcoming, over 285 people were moved into stable housing. I love this. Because of their workforce development program, 400 individuals gained workforce skills and were moved into full-time employment. Yeah. And this one's my favorite. Because of Mel Trotter's prevention and diversion team, 683 families were prevented from going into homelessness and were able to keep the places that they live. Friends, that's as good as building new houses. So thank you, Mel Trotter, just for the tangible way that you show the love of Christ to the people of our community. So I know that this is just the tip of the iceberg for all of the stories that are taking place in this room right now. And here's what I want to say. We see you. The work you are doing is making a difference. Well done, good and faithful servant. So God, we celebrate you because we've seen your work in our lives and in our community, and we have confidence that your good work will continue. So let's stand in worship, lifting our voices to God and thanking Him for what has already happened and feeling confident that the best is yet to come.